We have all seen the video of our favorite YouTuber showing off their brand new YouTube studio with all the lights and the cameras and the perfect sounding audio. This is not that video. Hey everybody, my name is Patrick. I'm a husband, a dad, a human, and a creator living in New York City. And on this channel, we talk about all of it. Now, I'm actually not in New York City right now. I'm on vacation with my family. Let's go. This backpack right here houses an entire YouTube studio, and today I'm gonna show you everything I carry with me to make videos. If you think that you need some special office out there that has everything you need, think again. Every video you've watched on my channel has been created using gear from this bag. So before I get into this backpack, I wanna talk about the camera and the tripod I'm using because, well, I'm using them. My favorite camera is the Sony ZV-E10. It is a run and gun interchangeable lens camera that shoots in 4K that has USB-C connection directly to my computer for live streaming and Zoom calls and things like that. It is extremely versatile and actually pretty cost effective at around 800 bucks with a lens. And that sits on a beautiful tripod I purchased a while back from Aoka, which is a company I never heard of, but it's a metal, it's an aluminum stand. It's really tough, it's really rugged, and it's pretty versatile. It gets pretty high, but then actually fits right into my backpack. So anywhere I go, I have the tripod that works for me and a super versatile camera that shoots really great footage of whatever I'm shooting that day. Okay, now let's get into this backpack. First and foremost, I use a low pro backpack. It is a Fastpack Pro BP 250 AW3. Now, this is not the most popular low pro model. The most popular low pro model is this guy. Now, I bought that backpack and I used it for quite some time, but it wasn't my favorite because the only way to access the gear inside was to unzip this section here and fully unfold the backpack to grab whatever gear you needed, which is not really conducive to New York City. It just gets in the way all the time. Also, the bag wouldn't stand straight up like my Fastpack is doing right now. So same company, two different bags, but I like this one better because it has both professional and consumer features, making it kind of a prosumer backpack. Now, as you can see on the backpack, I have a couple of little attached pouches where I keep just some extra batteries, cables, what have you. And on the front of the backpack, on the front back, on the strap here, I have this little mount that can clip on or off of the backpack. A GoPro or anything that could use a GoPro mount can be mounted to this little clip. So when I'm walking through the airport or walking through the city, I have a GoPro with me if I need to just shoot something quick. Now, my iPhone over the past few years has kind of replaced my GoPro because it shoots such great footage. It's water resistant, even though the GoPro is waterproof. And having a GoPro around is amazing, especially if you need a portable YouTube studio. So having one clipped right here is great, but I also shoot a lot with my phone, which is always in my pocket. Okay, now let's get into some of the meat and potatoes of the bag. Some zipper pockets here where I keep cables and some extra things. I have a zipper pouch here where I can put cables, and oh, right here are my SSD drives. One of my favorite YouTubers just recently admitted that they didn't know SSD drives were a thing and they were still shooting on hard drives. What? These are Samsung, this is a T5, this is a T7, just different models of pretty much the same SSD drive. They are super fast, super portable. I take them with me everywhere I go because once you start editing multiple projects, your computer drive space will fill up. They're in the computer? So having those externals and working off of them because they're really fast SSDs is super important. Let's talk about the computer compartment. So inside of the computer compartment, I have my M1 MacBook Pro. It's a 16-inch MacBook Pro. It has the M1 Max chip. If you are looking for a super efficient laptop that can edit video fast and stay cool, this is your guy or girl. This is your computer. I have never heard the fans on this computer turn on.
Wow.
It is that efficient. It is that great. But when I'm editing on the go, when I want a portable YouTube studio, screen real estate is going to become very, very important to me. So I always, in this same compartment, have my iPad. Now the iPad is wonderful for letting my kids watch movies, letting me watch movies, watching the Mets game on YouTube TV, but you can also use the iPad to extend the desktop of your computer. And I do this all the time when I'm editing in Final Cut Pro, just to give me more editing space. And I love that both the iPad and the computer fit right in the computer sleeve. Okay, now let's get into the main compartment of the bag, or I guess I should say the top compartment of the bag. This cable organizer is something that everyone should have. If you don't have this one, get another one. Because when I unclip this, you'll see little netting, you'll see elastic bands that hold my cables in place. If you're just throwing all your cables in your bag, you're gonna have a bad time.
Bro, I'm straight up not having a good time.
And you can see that this cable organizer is pretty empty because since we are in this Airbnb, all of the cables that used to be here are now scattered all over the house charging my wife's and my son's devices.
You've taken everything from me!
But this is great to have when you're on the go because you simply open it up and have every cable right at your fingertips. There's a couple of cables that you should always have in a bag like this if you're carrying around a portable YouTube studio. Number one, a standard USB A to B cable, along with all of your USB-Cs and your micro USBs and HDMIs and all of that. Having one of these is something that most people forget, just a standard old school USB cable. Another adapter or cable-esque thing you need in your bag is a capture card. So many people go out and spend hundreds of dollars on capture cards that take the HDMI signal of a camera and allow you to convert it using USB right into your Mac or PC. But this capture card right here is 20 bucks and it's never failed me. Now my Sony ZV-E10, one of my favorite things about it, USB-C right into the computer. I don't need one of these, but most cameras you do, and this one works great. Super cheap, link in the description. Last but not least, I always carry around an iPhone adapter, an iPhone clip that can go onto tripods. I always carry around an iPhone clip or adapter that will allow you to connect your iPhone to tripods and articulating arms and things like that if you want another angle for shooting. So not only do I have my Sony ZV-E10, but I also have the GoPro with me that's clipped right onto here. It's not right now, it's in the bag. And then this clip, which allows me to shoot with my iPhone. Gotta have multiple angle options. The moment you don't think you need them, a situation will pop up where you do. I always have my Beats headphones with me. If you're going to be editing, you need to have great audio. Now, do I think that these provide great audio? I like my wife's Sony headphones better, but these are about 180 bucks, pretty cost effective when it comes to over-ear Bluetooth headphones. And these are the Beats, I think, Studio 3s. I don't know if I'm getting that right. I've had 2 pairs of these, I loved them. They're a little flimsy and break easily, but they sound pretty good and they're great for editing. Extra USB-C cable. You know, doing the YouTube game is hard, so you gotta have deodorant, right? The next thing I'm gonna show you is an unassuming product, something you never would think you would need, but it's the articulating arm, and it has been a rock star for me over the past few months. Now, an articulating arm allows you to move it in like different ways and then tighten it down, and it stays that way. And then I can move it another way and it stays that way. The problem with articulating arms is they're also short, but I found a 21-inch articulating arm. Now, this is wonderful because this articulating arm has little footy pads here that I can connect to any surface. Let's see if I can just do it right here. Yeah. And now this articulating arm will allow me to put a microphone on it. Or maybe an overhead shot with my GoPro. As I show you different things, I'm putting it under the GoPro. And you just tighten these different sections here, and the articulating arm stays in place. Now, this is a huge tool. For a mobile or even a standalone YouTube studio. Being able to mount lights, microphones, or even cameras, huge. And I have been using this in this portable setup almost every single time I shoot a video. So these articulating arms are becoming more and more important in my setup. Okay, since I have the iPad, I also have the Apple Pencil. Now this is great for like handwriting on the screen that you want to put on top of your videos or something like that. Having this pencil isn't something that I use every single day, but I need it every once in a while. I also have inside of this pouch, of course, a USB-C dongle. Now I have the M1 MacBook Pro, the M1 Max. So it has HDMI out, it has USB-C out, it has an SD card slot reader. But this provides me just some extra ports, and every once in a while I need to plug in a few extra things, like USB-A. So having this dongle is really important to me. Now, before we move on, there's also a water bottle holder, but a lot of times I will take small peripherals like this articulating arm and just stick them right in there, and it holds really, really nicely on this backpack. You'll also notice that this backpack has little utility straps here. That's how I'm able to connect these little pouches as well as some other things. So during like height of the pandemic, I always had a mask shoved right in here so that I could grab it at any time if I forgot my mask when I walked out the door.
We all wear masks, metaphorically speaking.
Having things that you can just hook onto your backpack, giving you some extra storage, it's a huge must. Now, let's hop down to the more professional section of this backpack. When I unzip this portion of the backpack and flip it open, let me flip it open this way. You'll notice that I have a cube organization system. Now it looks pretty bare right now because I'm shooting with my camera, my tripod's being used, all that. But I can professionally store and protect gear in here. So I keep my most precious things in this little cube system. But before we get to that, I wanna talk about this flap here because it has this little section here for SD cards. But you know what I keep in it? AirTags. If you are walking around with gear, thousands of dollars worth of gear, hundreds of dollars worth of gear that's important to you and your creative lifestyle, protect it. One of these little AirTags will allow you to track this bag anywhere in the world as long as it can ping off of other iPhones and iPads and Macs. And a pack of like 4 AirTags is I think $100. One of them is $30, I think, so it's a no-brainer. If you're already spending money on gear, spend money on protecting your gear. Now, inside of this cube system, let me first talk about these two peripherals. I travel with a trackpad and a mouse. So when I am using my laptop, and I have the iPad as an external display, I like using these two peripherals. I'm zooming in and out with a trackpad. I'm scrolling around on my Logitech MX Master 3, which has multiple buttons on it. So it's great to know all the keyboard shortcuts of Premiere Pro or Final Cut Pro, but this mouse allows you to program those shortcuts into the buttons. So I've got some buttons on the side here. I've got a scroll wheel, got some buttons here, got a scroll wheel, left and right click, of course. And you can also, if it runs out of battery, use it while it's being charged via USB-C. And over here on the trackpad, I'm using Apple's trackpad. Say what you want, I think it's one of the best trackpads out there. So having 2 mice, one in my right hand, one in my left hand, performing multiple functions while I edit, huge must for me. I take these everywhere. Now, like I said before, I have my GoPro down here in this protected space. I also have a GoPro battery charger. And speaking of batteries, I always carry an external battery with me. There's nothing worse than not getting the shot you want because you ran out of battery.
Unless you've got power!
Carry portable batteries with you. Additionally, I have this locking system for the top of tripods. You screw into the bottom of the tripod. This screws into the bottom of your camera or your light or your microphone or whatever you want to screw this into the bottom of, and you're able to click it onto a tripod or even an articulating arm. And then when you don't need it, push these 2 buttons, whoop, pops right off. Needs to come back on, pops back on. Love these little guys. They're made by Ulanzi and they're a little over $20 if I'm remembering correctly. Link in the description. Now, I always carry around with me a light. It is not a professional light. It's not even a great light, but it's if I'm in a dark room, if I need to do a live stream and I need to give myself a little bit of light on the face or anywhere else, It's got just a little control here, nothing fancy at all, but you gotta have a light with you, important part of your YouTube studio. And since we're being portable, we really went budget. I think this thing's like 20 bucks. Now, I know I already talked about my Beats headphones, but one of my favorite pieces of gear that I've ever owned is my 64 audio custom in-ear monitors. I'm also a musician, and when I play on stage, the way a lot of musicians monitor themselves is by using in-ear monitors. And you can buy regular headphones and use those as in-ear monitors, but these are custom molded to my ears, kind of like hearing aids. And if I know I'm gonna be sitting down and doing an edit on a video where I know I'm not gonna be bothered, I'm not gonna move, maybe I'm in an airport waiting for a flight somewhere, having the Beats is great, but I really use those when I know I'm gonna need to pull one ear off to talk to somebody. But if I know I'm sitting down and editing for a while, these sound incredible. You will not find better sound. I hear everything with these. They're not cheap, they're very expensive. I actually got them so long ago that this company has changed their name since then. They're no longer 1964 ears, they're now 64 Audio. Amazing company. I should do a video on these headphones because they're just, nothing compares to them. Let's talk a little bit more about audio. There's two other things I want to show you in this backpack. Number one is this mic right here. Now, this has been my go-to mic that stays on my camera, but right now I'm using a lav, and I wanted to put this in the bag to be able to pull it out and show it to you. This is the Rode Video Mic Go 2. Now, obviously, it sticks right onto the top of my camera. It's a little shotgun mic here, plugs into the camera. Great audio is captured. But this also has a few tricks up its sleeve. It has a USB-C port on it, and that has two functions. Now, I did a whole video about this, so I'm just briefly going to say, number one, you can plug this directly into your Mac or PC, open up the Rode Central app. This is a mic made by Rode, and it allows you to make edits to the microphone, the way it sounds, the way it functions. It also gives you updates to the microphone. They actually release new features for this microphone. Now, once again, I have future-proofed myself. If they continue to provide updates and upgrades to this mic just by software update, it allows me to use the mic longer because people say, hey, Rode, I want the mic to do this. And a lot of times they'll provide that update. That USB-C cable also allows you to plug this into your computer to use with any audio source or system, like a DAW, a digital audio workstation. I can use this in Logic, GarageBand, Pro Tools. I can also use it as a mic for streaming, like in Twitch, in Zoom, any type of live stream situation like Ecamm Live. And of course, it goes right on top of my camera as a great mic for my camera. Huge upgrade. This was a $99 microphone, and I've used it every time I shoot a video. I love it. However, if you're gonna buy a microphone, especially if you're putting together a portable YouTube studio like this one, go with, once again, a Rode product, the Rode Wireless Go 2. I'm actually using the Rode Wireless Go 2 right now, and I'm making a video about this microphone, and I've made videos about it in the past. But long story short, this receiver plugs into anywhere you record audio. A handheld recording device like a Zoom or a camera. And this microphone records audio, sending it to that receiver wherever it's plugged in. But guess what? These little microphones are also ice maker. These little microphones are also mics themselves and record directly onto themselves. Now, what do I mean by that? This lav is plugged into a Rode Wireless Go 2, and it is sending audio to this receiver, which is plugged into a camera, a Zoom, or wherever I want to record audio, including Logic, Pro Tools, any digital audio workstation, like I said, with the Rode Video Mic Go 2. But last but not least, these also record directly onto themselves, making it the smallest field recorder out there. So if I wanted to, I could just take this little dead cat, connect it to the Rode Wireless Go 2, turn it on, and by default, it just starts recording to itself. And I can say, hey, how's it going today? Do you mind letting me shoot an interview with you? Great, what do you feel about tacos? I don't know. And last but not least, two of these little mics come in the Rode Wireless Go 2. So you have two mics that are transmitting audio to this receiver that can plug into anything. If you're a content creator and you're out there thinking, what mic should I buy? And you got a few $100, don't buy the Shure SM7B, buy the Rode Wireless Go 2 if you move your camera at all. I mean, if you're a streamer, yeah, go for the SM7B. But if you're moving around and you're mobile like this is the mic for you, along with very close runner-up, Rode video might go to. So I know that this isn't one of those videos where a famous YouTuber is showing their high-tech studio to you, but I'm just like you. I'm a guy who needs to find space to record, shoot, create, edit, and produce in. And I do that with this backpack everywhere I go. I have my Mac, I have my iPad, I have all of my accessories, audio, I've got my microphones, I've got my power, I've got my articulating arm to be able to hook up my camera or mic or light anywhere I go. But I'm sure there's something in this backpack that you wish was there that I forgot to put in, or maybe have never thought of putting in my mobile YouTube studio. What is it? Let me know down in the comments. And while you're there, do all the other YouTube things. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to my channel. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.